The increase of the domestic price of fuel are big news in South Africa. The price of the petrol, diesel and paraffin reaching new heights. The underlying reason of the price increase is the movement of the international price of crude oil. The acceleration in the international price of crude oil is linked to the Russia war in Ukraine. The international oil price pressure leads to the higher land cost of the fuel in South Africa. The landed cost in US dollars is converted to rands at the prevailing exchange rate. Any weakness in the rand exchange rate against the US dollar, therefore, results in the higher domestic petrol price. Political and economic stability to ensure the sustainable exchange rate is therefore of the utmost importance in the strategy to contain the domestic fuel price. The fuel levies include transport to the inland provinces, thus explaining the difference in the fuel price between coastal and inland region. These levies are fixed and subject to periodic revision.
The steep petrol prices.
Since the petrol hikes are killing us, I'm planning on moving closer to work because it's really tough. It's difficult. Like I just bought 200 rand yesterday night, and like the case is not going anywhere.
You are trying to limit now the over excessive money that you are using in an every day-to-day basis. So moving me closer there, it cuts off on my cost. Maybe I can add get school petrol and so on.
We are suffering straight. We are suffering. Otherwise, now people are gonna use their bicycle now because you can't drive those big cars like we used to drive 3 liters and 2 liters and 1.6. Now no more.
Salary won't change, and the price is up. So we just have to take money from other things that we could do, put it to the fuel.
Experts predict that another fuel increase may be on the cards next month.
If the oil price were to hang around this $130 a barrel, and that translates into a high 25 rand per litre for 95, if we can be more exact. And it assumes that the rand hangs on to the strength that it seems to have found in a very difficult environment.
As consumers continue to grapple to make ends meet amid rising fuel prices, rolling blackouts, and stagnant income, things are likely to get worse.
Okay, petrol has affected us negatively because it's costly and you have to cut off some of the things that you were spending on, like maybe in the household or your entertainment, and you have to check where you go every time because petrol has increased steadily. So, and I think government must start talking with those countries where we get our oil or get minerals in order to produce our own oil in South Africa so that it can be cheaper and easier accessible. That's it. Thank you.
Oil price increases are generally thought to increase inflation and to reduce economic growth. In terms of inflation, oil price directly affected the price of goods made with petrol products.
All stakeholders could have done better in preventing what's currently happening and taking place, given that for us diesel users it's going to be close to a 3 rands increase, so it's very steep considering all other prices are remaining constant. It's only fuel and inflation and others that are affecting us. I don't even want to call myself middle class. We are heavily affected.
The issue of increment of petrol price affect the increment of food price and oil, and they are people who depend on social grants and can't afford to buy their needs as before because other people are also unemployed. Public transport becomes too expensive because of increment of petrol price, and that also affects taxi drivers because they have to increase public transport fares, which not everyone would afford. Unfortunately for South African motorists, early forecasts show another steep increase in the petrol price in July. Inflation is expected to surpass the 7% range and the price of 93 octane petrol will rise by 2.37 rand per litre and 95 octane by 2.57 rand per litre.
Since well the petrol price have increased, how does it affect you?
Well, it affects me negatively because everything is increased. Public transport costs, learners from into school has increased, grocery has increased, and it means with the increase in petrol, I must cut down on some of the expenses.
So if there's anything government could do to help to decrease this petrol, how do you suggest it to be done?
Well, they must at least reduce our tax, increase tax, payers when their tax is paid, and they must deal with people who steal and even return them so that we can have a surplus. Also, they can look at drilling their own oil. We have a lot of oil in Africa, so if it's ready in Africa.
Okay, thank you.
The increase of petrol has made the people in South Africa to reduce their expenses. Now others they are reducing money from entertainment and food because they want to cover petrol as their basic need. The conflict between Russia and Ukraine has cost many people in the world as petrol increased.
The primary measure of overall price increases in the economy is encapsulated by the inflation rate. The increment of petrol price is affecting commuters in negative way because when petrol price increases, public transport fares will also increase. Oil prices increases are generally going to affect the increment of inflation and reduce economic growth. Petrol price increases reduces the purchasing power of money that in turn has an adverse impact on consumers. The fuel increases have a strong impact on consumers' pockets as the current cost of living makes it challenging for people to manage their finances. The reality is people need to commute to work, transport their children to school, and run other errands. During this time, we advise consumers to consider planning their day-to-day or weekly travel. Join or start a work, leave club, and even pack lunch to help in their saving any bit of money. Under 5 years, South Africa's petrol price have been doubled. On July 2017, it was 12 rand 86 cent per litre. It increased to 26 rand 74 cent per litre in the same month of 2022. The issue of the inflation in South Africa is too high as petrol price has increased by 2 rand 77 cent per litre compared to other countries and it keeps on getting worse. However, eventually living in South Africa will become expensive and there is a possibility of South Africans using dollars currency in the near future because rents will become weaker. Much of the world's energy needs are made by Russia, the second largest producer of oil and natural gas worldwide. The EU, which imports 25% of its oil and 40% of its natural gas, as well as Asia, are dependent on Russian supplies given the uncertainty brought on by the conflict.
The conflicts between Russia and Ukraine make the petrol to increase globally. Well, the food in all countries went up because of the petrol. Because to transport this food, we need transports. So the increase of petrol, paraffin, and other resources cost a lot, and the economy of other countries also went down. Well, let's hope this situation will be fixed very soon between Russia and Ukraine. We have investigated about this situation, so we think we'll find the solution. Mazunsian reporting for